please give a big welcome to Alison Trower.
Thank you. People that I know for coming, and hello people that I don't know. I will say, I'm going to invite you not to clap between the poems. Some of them are very short, but also they're quite reflective pieces of work, and I really want to invite you to kind of go off on your imagination inward with whatever feels right. So I sort of quite like it when people actually sort of almost half pay attention, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to start, I don't know if you know, but it is the summer solstice today, which is the time when the geographical pole is tilted toward our amazing star that we orbit. And the first set that I'm going to do is really in homage to that. So the first one is torrential rain. This torrential rain reminds me of the broad sun, whose heat moves our waters and whose central axis in our lives brings us days and nights, winters and summers, feasts and famines. Even though the sky is laden with cloud, I know the stars in my universe continue to burn. When these great candles reach the end of their wicks and each goes out with a bang, it will be forever true that in the palm of my hand I once held a tiny apple the shape of my world. Once pressed that fruit along the crease of a promising lifeline. I cannot escape the present moment where the torrential rain calls to mind the waves of the sea and the shores they smash up against, time after time after time. As my hope spins and the moon arcs, I myself drip wax around my feet, discarding reflective puddles wherever I walk. I once heard this amazing story about someone who'd been working with a dolphin for a really long time, possibly years and years and years. And she said when she used to get into the pool with the dolphin would stare at her knee because of the bend in her knee. The dolphin would be fascinated with this join in a human body, and it captivated me so much. And I feel as though there are things in this world that I just stare at. I don't understand, but I just stare at them and stare at them and stare at them in the hope that somehow I'll grasp what I'm looking at. And one of the things that captures me in nature is the veins, because we have space and because we have time and because we have place, we need veins to transport fuel to our extremities, to leaves, for roots to go into the earth, and this theme comes up so much in my poetry, and this is one of them where this theme comes up. It's called Daylight. When the sun's arc shoots its first arrows over the curved horizon, and after silence, perched birds open wide in scalpel tones, sleepy leaves turn thirsty, and beneath them, snaking roads begin jugular pulsations of wheels. Our day opens its eye, and shafts of sun milk are gulped down our throat as we crucially refuel the belly of our sinuous, interconnected pathways. And this next one, again, homage to the sun, is called Children of Luminosity, which is what we are. I remember I had one of my ex-boyfriends many years ago when we were coming home with the shopping, he said, these bags are full of sunlight. And I loved that, because they are, because that's where all our food comes from, is the sun. To have a beating heart is to be wed to the sun. Sunlight grains our bowl, moves our drink, is the note to which we dance. Children of luminosity, our lifespan entwines with the span of shine. We are nothing without stars. The gold we trade, the dust we farm, the clay of our flesh are all stellar made. The cosmos is our mother, and she the child of time and timelessness. How mysterious the marriage of that which lives to that which neither lives nor dies. I grow my own food. This one is called Ark. It's very short. Fill my bucket with dirty potatoes. What a gathering of damp and bright beneath the arc of steady handle. This is another one of those ones where I'm eyeballing something I just can't grasp. It's called Passing Through. It's actually one of my favourite poems that I keep coming back to. I'm actually not sure I've ever performed this one, but I hope you enjoy it. Passing through. Death. Birth. Birth. Death. To be passing through. Passage. Passages. Movement. A life of time. A lifetime of events, of eventualities. A passage of experiences, of contact. Life is contact. Contact causes life. Contact causes death. Constant contact causes change. There is only change. While passing through, constant contact has not scattered me. What holds me together? What gives me lifespan? What is formation? How is it chaos has not torn everything? So in the first half, things are quite visceral, and this is kind of quite a one, because I just feel like flesh is just so, just to have a physical body and to be alive and to be physical is just so, just something to grab onto, you know. What I can clasp only makes me question. I push my arm into the clay of the earth, squeeze its living flesh until its life pushes out between my hard fingers. I cup water and throw it into the air, watch it drop and slide. I grab the warm meat of my leg until my curious grip gently hurts my own nerve endings. I press my eyes with my thumbs, open them again to daylight, press them once more to darkness. I cannot physically tear myself from this nitty-gritty. All I can do is push, pull, examine the wild and bulging presence of this place that captures my imagination, that answers me only in tantalizing pulses. If I could find a box that contains meaning, would it be heavy or would it be light? Perhaps opening that box I would see it has no base, just an infinite abyss of strange and wondrous possibilities. The center. The center is everywhere. Its flow is without limit. If everything takes a course in all possible directions, nothing can wander. There's just a few more little ones. Home. Push the key deeper and you will find home has no edge. I spent 4 hours in Epping Forest recently until it got dark and I was being eaten alive by mosquitoes. And it was such an incredible experience. I love being out in nature, and just to give myself over to that wilderness. And it was so busy, especially when it comes to nightfall. It becomes so busy, so alive, so crawling. And this is what I wrote straight afterwards. It's called Shambles. After being in the forest was in me. The branches twisting for light, the tangle of birds, rotting leaves and dropped beech nuts crawling with legged and non-legged things. Netted limb from limb, the naked shambles dragged me torn wide into the present. Intoxicated, gorged with nature's densely perfumed irrepressibility, I too was undone, smothered in orderly chaos, with but a pitiable path back home. And the last one I'm going to read in this bit is There Is No Pause. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but a while back, I think it must have been the program of Dallas, but you know the image that you get of when oil is struck and it kind of shoots out the ground, and that stayed with me, and it comes out in this one because it's this all that dying material of leaves and all that sunlight that's rotted and rotted and rotted and been crushed and crushed and crushed, has been fuel for us for so long. And also it's kind of still retains the stuff of life. This is called There Is No Pause. Out there, life is giving birth to itself wherever and whenever birth is possible. Only if time were to stop could countless replicating cells be halted. But there is never a pause. A constant fountain of being breaks through the surface of what exists like struck oil. Thank you.
And now, Alison Trower again. Here she is.
So the ones in this little set are more about human-to-human connection and community. And the first one is about neighbourliness or not. And it's called Box. The walls came down around me. As the dust sunk to the ground, I walked unharmed amidst the rubble. Lifting a small piece of brick, I wondered how something so shattered was once solid. I stepped across the debris to see the collapse from a fresh angle. I did not recognize the expanse in plain view. How odd to walk through walls, to stand in open air. A sense of inside and outside prevailed, strongly engraved here. I replayed the scene in my mind. I had had my legs crossed as usual. The coffee in my mug was hot. All my furniture stood in the same formation, and even now the frame of my television flickered scenes from a familiar show. My home was here, but the partitions that held my routine together were gone. I stared for a while at the brokenness. Where are my shoes? I thought. They were where I had left them, beside the shelves of books I used to broaden my mind. No book prepared me for this. The opening up of my box was, I searched for the words, it was like losing my skin, my seams. I looked further beyond. Other people were standing without their walls too. People I had never once seen. In our training, and there's a few ministers here, one of the exercises we do is we look at someone in the eyes for a really long time, like a really long time. And it kind of does something to do that, and it's not something that we often do with each other. And this is called seen, because it's about being seen. Make eye contact. Blink and reopen to the human before you, still there, beholding your gaze. What you find pulsing and beyond pulsing is greater than life's dramas. When the barriers are down, there is space to be not alone. Then we remember. I guess a lot of the theme of this set is about skin, and it's about barriers and not barriers, and it's about walls. And here's another one about that interesting distance between people. It's called air. The skin between blood and air is taut. Though both human, you and I cannot be the same. Good relationship values difference. May I merit the gap between us, yet be not far away. The skin between us strangers begs room to breathe air. I don't know how many people have ever seen a child asleep. I have some nephews, and going in to turn the light off is a really beautiful thing, to see a child asleep, and this is called Child. The relaxed hands of you sleeping, the relaxed breath of you gently snoring, the weight of your slumber denting the pillow, a flicker of dreams detached from daylight, making a momentary shape under your eyelids. Stillness. You are here, but you are not here. I pull another blanket over you. I close the door as if the room is built thistle down, which must not blow, lest it is lost forever. This is called Brave Are We, and it's a celebration of frailty, and it's a celebration of vulnerability. Which I think we can really appreciate when we connect with children, actually. I certainly do. Delicate wings can carry me far. I am strong in my fragility, powerful in sensitivity. Look how the air sustains bodies, yet my hand goes through it as if through nothing. Gossamer tenderness can heal the ravages of this world. It can warm like the sun and soften edges with a whisper. I do not underestimate gentleness nor precariousness. Life itself is out on a limb. I am out on a limb. My nerves are exposed, my veins visible. My pulse is a quick and quiet tapping, yet I dare to take part. In all my vulnerability, I dare to fly. I have scars. My wings have ragged ends. Brave are we who are born at all. It takes courage to be sentient, to not know the future, to have blind spots, thin skin, to ache, to bleed, to lose. Like a bug, I could be crushed and spilled, so I carry my dainty body with care, knowing my cargo is precious. My cargo is my sentience. In being breathed life, I was breathed frailty. It is human to live amongst the things that hurt. I am flesh. I take part. Here's just 3 more little ones. This is called This Side. But for now, the strings must be cut. The ship must sail. Land and sea interlock. We cannot escape this round earth, but we can travel. I attended a memorial for transgender, transsexual people who had been predominantly murdered, but also who had committed suicide. And in this memorial, hundreds of candles were lit for the names and the people that the organisers knew of who had died, and this was just a fraction of the trans people who had suffered. And I wrote this afterwards, and it's called Witness. How many more miles long must the graveyard of abused life stretch before we learn? Each and every ditch of every victim is cut into the flesh of humankind. There is no us and them, there is only us, of one body, of one vulnerable limb. To those maimed and murdered standing for fairness, the voice of truth has your back. Wisdom lives on. Human honesty and the human brutality that tortures it is seen. No life, however cut short, was ever lived in vain. To all those desecrated by iniquity, a shallow grave, abomination, your allies lock arms for change. So long as we lock arms, change will come. And the last one I'm going to read is called When. But when I shed my skin, my familiar skin, when my hands have nothing left to do except to let go of gripping, then I believe I will begin to understand.